But when you stop at the intersection of classic hip-hop and culinary arts, you find Food Dope, the legendary podcast that personifies the culture through conversations with hip-hop influence, executive chefs, restaurateurs, and food influencers.
Step, throwing up flat like a ref, whipping up bricks like a chef.
Welcome to another episode of the Food Dope Podcast. This is your host, Nathan T. Rideaux, the curator of culinary dopeness. Today, got executive chef with me, and a guy that kind of sort of shares my same culture.
Yes, sir.
From the same home state where I'm from. He's local to me right now, and I'm proud of that. And I want to give a shout out to your publicist, Brittany, who put us in touch with each other, because to this day, I don't know how she found out who I was and what I was doing, but she sent me an email a few months ago, and I appreciate her for wherever she heard me from. Appreciate me and told me she thought you'd be a good fit for coming on the show.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank
I appreciate you, and I appreciate Brittany for that. So thank you. And today I got Chef Bert Dumas.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Bert?
I'm good, brother. How you?
I'm excellent, bro.
Good,
excellent,
good.
excellent. As I say, I'm glad to get you here today on Food Dope, and we're gonna
Thanks
talk.
for having me.
Yeah, we're gonna talk culinary arts. We're gonna talk history. I know you like to teach.
Oh yeah.
You had your podcast. You have your company who produce these fine goods right here. We're
Yes,
gonna talk
sir.
about your entrepreneurship, food. We're gonna talk music. We're gonna talk culture.
Hit me with it. I'm
That's
ready.
Food Dope. That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
That's right. So, what's up with you, man? How you doing?
I'm breathing, man.
You breathing?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna go into a little bit of your history, man. But first, let me start off. I never start off the show with this. Let me ask you, as far as hip hop history is concerned, what's the first moment in your life where something in hip hop culture grabbed a hold of you, made you take notice, and like, whoa, I got to be a part of that?
The Fugees.
Fugees.
Yeah.
The Score album, was it?
Yeah.
Score '96. Yeah. What song?
Just
was it?
hearing Lauren, you
Yeah.
know, like sing,
Yeah.
and I'm an R&B head, so
Okay.
you know, hearing Lauren like sing and then mix it with, you know, just hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, I couldn't listen to rap
Right.
in my house. You know, my people was like, yeah, nah. I mean,
Really?
look, funny story. The Puppies, you remember them?
That name
Funky
from Miami.
Y2C?
From Miami.
Yeah,
I remember.
But, man,
Yeah.
we had, you know, these summer programs or whatever, and I would always bring music. Now I can't listen to rap, so I'm bringing the old school stuff. You know,
Yeah.
Luther Vandross, you know, Jeffrey Osborne. Nobody listened to that stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And they were like, you know, we got to give you something special because, you know, you brought music every time, you know, even
Yeah.
though it wasn't listened to. And they gave me a tape. A
Okay.
cassette tape, the Puppies.
Yeah.
I got it home. My dad was like, "What's this trash?" You know, he didn't say trash, but you know.
Oh, man.
The first thing I had, and it was gone before I could even listen to it.
Yeah.
Man, you know, but the Fugees like spoke to me because
Right.
you know I like to sing, and just to be able to include that in there and then still be spitting, you know, knowledge and
Yeah.
looping in
Yeah.
everybody. You know,
Right.
I understood what they were talking about.
Right.
You know, I couldn't necessarily relate to, you know, all the like street stuff. You know, so to be able to hear something that I could relate. Cool. They talking about knowledge. They talking
Right.
about love. They talking about, you know, friendship. You know,
Right.
that was awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And the point that you brought up, man, that's one of the points I would like to actually bring up. One thing about hip hop, even though it's a street culture and rap is a street music, that to see what street people were doing and with the level of creativity.
Absolutely.
And it's what keeps drawing me into this day.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep still discovering stuff from 20, 30 years ago that
Yep.
that I didn't hear before, or I heard it differently then, that I can appreciate the level of our of artistic merit in it right now. Yeah.
Because you got to grow.
You have to grow.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And just like you said, I don't know why when you said the Puppies, I don't know if this was the Puppies, but they had a song, "Hey Little
Mama."
Mama."
That was
Why
the
you
song,
get so
exactly.
yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Fucking Y2C,
Yeah.
you know?
and I did have the Fugees back in '96, man. I used to ride around and listen to that. That Fugees album was a classic, The Score.
was, yeah.
They won a lot of awards for that. Talented group. And I think for me, I don't think I put this on tape or recorded anywhere. I was just talking to somebody recently about my earliest experience. Earliest experience with hip hop had to be around '82, and so I was about 9 or 10 years old. Yeah, 82, 83. There was a skating rink in Lafayette. They used to let people in. You know, they let people in. You get in before it was a couple of dollars before 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then you had to leave. But if you wanted to stay a little later till midnight, you had to pay like an extra $1.50. So they would empty the skating rink out at 10.
Yeah.
So for people who, I think it was a stamp on your hand, if you paid that, they let you back in. And only after that, you could go in here Planet Rock by Africa Bambaataa.
Okay.
And so my little friends who I knew from school, 4th to 5th grade or whatever, you saw them in a different light because you in the skating rink now. You're not at school,
Exactly.
and now y'all all on the dance floor, and y'all popping and breaking, and Planet Rock is on. And that's what I'm saying, man. That culture took a hold of us. I don't care where we live.
Exactly.
And we felt, I could say now, it's like you kind of feel like a weirdo because everybody else is not feeling what you're feeling because you kind of feel like you're set apart. Like, why is it I'm hearing this? These beats are getting to me like.
Exactly. Hold on. I feel this in my soul.
Right.
You know,
and I'm willing to go and stay to the skating rink till midnight to go hear. The only place you can hear the message are Planet Rock and stuff like that. So, because people don't realize rap wasn't readily available to hear anywhere and everywhere at that time.
It wasn't.
So you had to, and there's another funny thing is like you think your parents drop you off. You 9, 10 years old at midnight in the skating rink.
But they knew where you were.
They knew where you were.
And they knew you weren't walking out that
It's
joint,
crazy, yeah. Yeah, man. So talk to me about where you're originally from. Where you originally from?
I'm from New Orleans.
From New Orleans.
So, we share a Louisiana connection.
Yeah.
Man, look, home is home. So,
Home is home.
whether it's Louisiana, Lake Charles, Shreveport, it don't matter, But, I'm from New Orleans. Grew up, uptown and in New Orleans East. And that's a part of me. I haven't lived there in a bunch of years, but my family's still there. That's still home base for me. Yeah.
That's a special place.
Absolutely.
You from the East Ninth Ward.
Yeah, Ninth Ward.
I'm from the West Bank.
Yeah,
across the river. But actually, I went to school in the inner city at St. Aug, which is 7th Ward.
Yeah.
So that's why, even though I lived on the West Bank, a lot of my friends came from across the river.
Yeah.
So that's why the place is special, man, because I got special friends that I was able to carry me from life that I became when I went to St. Aug.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about the city, even though I wasn't even a native.
You don't have to be.
They took me in.
Exactly.
And showed me, and that's why, man, that place
you there.
You there.
That's how it is.
Place is special to me.
Yeah.
So your surroundings growing up, you had a lot of I'm sure in your family, a lot of cooks, culinary artists.
Surprisingly,
and things of
my
that
mom.
nature. Yeah.
My mom, my grandfather.
Okay.
Who didn't cook a lot.
Okay.
And rest in peace. But he would burn stuff a lot of times
Yeah.
too. But you better not say
Yeah.
about it being burnt. You ain't ever getting nothing from that kitchen anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
But my mom, my aunts, they love to cook.
Okay.
And bake and things like that.
Right.
So I got that more from her. And even to this day, she'll call me for advice.
Yeah.
Just like, I say, well, this your recipe, girl. Like,
Right.
why you calling
Why
me?
you need me?
Well, you the one, that got the experience.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I was like, girl, please.
But I don't think you could ever beat the foundation of where it came from.
Correct.
You might have the experience, but like where it came from, you could never get past.
Correct.
That organic.
It's more technique,
Yeah.
right? I'm a firm believer in we still use, so even today, I still use recipes that either I created or was created by ancestors, right? And ancestors both living and deceased.
Right.
But it's about learning what happens during the process of cooking and baking that I enjoy, and then I can recreate something that may create complete nostalgia for you.
Right.
But it's not mine. I'm just again doing what they did, and knowing how those ingredients work together, I can recreate what they did without even having tasted it myself.
Right.
You're just finessing the ingredients. They did it by passing it on, word of mouth.
Yeah.
We had to get it in a different fashion.
Right.
But generation to generation, tastes still the same.
Yeah. So I have to ask everybody about the culinary artistry. Is there anybody artistic in your family that may have passed down the trait to you to make you want to build and create things?
I don't know, man. I went to school for physical therapy.
Mm.
So, and I stepped out on a limb by saying, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And went to culinary school after, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to use this degree. So I'm just going to go to culinary school and hone my skills there.
Yeah.
I had already made money through college by making plates and,
Yeah.
and things like that. So now it's like, all right, well, let me hone this. But
Okay.
I can't think of anybody that actually has those skills. Yeah, no.
Wow, that's something. Any singers, musicians in the family?
Yeah. I mean, a couple. None that. None that. I mean, I have cousins.
Right.
No
Extended
direct.
family,
Yeah,
right.
extended family.
Yeah.
My first cousin, Jessica Harvey. Now Jessica Duranda, but
Okay.
Jessica Harvey and the Difference is a gospel artist, and my cousin Dawn Richard. We were
Okay.
talking about
We were
that.
talking about Richard,
yeah. With Danny DeCane. And,
Okay.
things like that. So other than that, that's the only two. I mean,
That's it?
Chocolate Milk. I don't know. You heard Chocolate
Yeah,
Milk?
the classic band,
Frank.
funk band from the 70s, 80s.
Yeah,
Chocolate Milk.
yeah.
Blue Jeans.
Yeah,
Had
exactly.
Blue jeans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Frank
Yeah.
is Dawn's dad. So
Okay.
yeah. That's
man,
my
I never
cousin.
knew
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
That's dope. First thing you ever cooked as a kid, not professionally. I'm talking about as a kid,
Yeah.
teenager, whatever.
That's hard. I remember talking to my mom about arguing with her about Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
I did a recipe. I don't even remember what the recipe was, but the recipe called for Wonder Bread. And
Yeah.
I said, Mom, but it said Wonder Bread. She was like, child, any bread will work. I'm like, but it say
gotta
Wonder
be Wonder
Bread.
Bread.
She's like,
Yeah.
no, you got bunny bread. That's what we're gonna use.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, my mom likes. I do remember making chocolate covered strawberries. I'd always go to the strawberry festival.
Right.
And
Strawberry Festival, Mandeville. Is it?
no, not in Manhattan. Where was it? In it's not Gonzales. Brobridge.
Brobridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Strawberry and Crawfish Festival there.
Yeah,
and,
crawfish, most definitely.
I'd be in the kitchen. Everybody be outside, running and playing. The kids, I'm in there helping
Yeah.
them make chocolate covered strawberries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Owning your skills, huh?
Exactly.
Owning your skills. Yeah. You said you went for physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
At what point was it that, like you said, I don't want to do this, I want to go do that?
Mm-hmm.
Was it something that pushed you over the edge that, boom, I'm in love with this now? That I
I've
got to
always
go
been
get
in
all the
love with it.
professional training.
All the jobs that I've had,
Mm-hmm.
short of personal trainer,
Right.
has been in the culinary field.
Okay.
And even before I was getting paid, I worked at Audubon Zoo.
Okay.
And my job was feeding the animals.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I've always
yeah.
been feeding people, you know,
Yeah.
and animals essentially, But yeah, it was just about me owning it.
Okay.
Owning that this is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
This is my calling. This is my superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. This is Nathan T. Rideaux, aka the Professor, the curator of culinary dopeness, and this is Food Dope Podcast. And today I'm here with Chef Bert Dumas, Executive Chef Bert Dumas. The dude got a lot going on. He got a lot to his name, attached to his name. So we're gonna talk about his brand right here. But first we do that, I'm gonna give a shout out to my engineer, Fran Lover, back there, because Fran asked me a while back, when you gonna get a chef in here from Louisiana? I need to talk to them.
I got an answer.
And it's a legitimate question,
Yeah.
because I feel the same way, that the cooking, the quality of food and the cooking that we came up in, that I came up in in New Orleans, I don't think it's the same anymore.
It's not.
I've been to restaurants when I was young
Mm-hmm.
that I go to now. It's not what I remember. It's not the same.
not.
Where can he go? If he goes to New Orleans, where could he go to go get some grub?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
You have to go. You have to go in the neighborhoods. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't be around the tourist areas.
I always say just go to somebody's mama house.
Somebody mama house.
Yeah, that's gonna be the best food. I mean.
Yeah, out of town, I can't go knock on the door at somebody's mama.
I don't know.
Yeah,
During Mardi Gras, you might be
during
able
Mardi
to get
Gras.
your plate.
Yeah,
you know
Mardi
what I'm
Gras,
saying?
you might be able to. Yeah.
But every other time, just look, just give me a call. We
Yeah,
set it up.
yeah.
I mean, it just that's tough, man, because everybody likes to, I guess, go on tangents with food now, and they're trying to create new things, and
Right.
they use like alcohol as like
Yeah.
the basis for
Yeah,
flavor and
yeah.
things like that, or things are very heavily unhealthy, using like heavy creams and things like that, and I mean, people have changed.
Yeah,
so
true.
I would still go to the basics, just because you got to get you some fresh seafood, so definitely Felix Oyster Bar.
Felix Oysters, yeah.
It definitely hit up that. you know, everybody goes to Mother's. You know, Mother's is definitely, you know, still a staple. You know, you need to go, but find you a good gas station. Hell, go to Brothers. You know what I mean? Get you some red beans and rice.
Man,
you know,
we used to have a gas station by our house. It was a Danny and Clyde's.
Yeah,
go get a po' boy made.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. You know, any of the seafood spots. You know, if it's named Cajun seafood, you know, don't go to it.
Don't go to it.
Just
that's what I try to tell people, and I'm glad you segued into that. One of my pet peeves is the misuse of the classification of Creole.
Yeah, absolutely.
People, maybe it's sexier to promote something as Cajun because that's what TV sees. Everything is Cajun. Anything is Cajun, but it's a big difference.
It's a big difference.
Go ahead.
Actually, it's subtle. Right?
It's subtle. It's subtle.
There is still the argument on what's considered Cajun and Creole with regard to people.
Right.
Right? Because in some parts of town, you can ask and people will say, oh, Creole is anyone with French descent, right? And usually that's determined by their last name.
Right.
If they have a French last name, then yeah, you know, it's probably Creole.
Yeah.
But if you look in the old books, Creole was anyone with African descent.
Yeah.
You know, essentially a colored person or a person of color.
Right.
Who was free. And that would be considered
Creole.
Creole.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, they said the free Negroes of Louisiana.
Right.
With food, there is Cajun that's more, well, I'll put it like this. Cajun is anything with roux based. Typically, Cajun will be brown.
Right.
Right? And it won't have a lot of vegetables in it.
Okay.
And will be meat heavy and not seafood heavy, if there's seafood at all. Whereas Creole will be red,
right,
because it's tomato based.
Yeah.
And it'll have more vegetables and most probably seafood in addition to meat.
Right.
So that's the big difference.
Yeah.
You look at it, red and brown,
yeah,
Cajun and Creole.
Yeah.
You know, or Creole and Cajun, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's as simple as I can make it, you know. But that's across the board. So you can have a Creole jambalaya that's, you know, red or orange because they got butter and, you know, tomato paste in there.
Yeah.
But then you can also look at a Cajun jambalaya that's brown, and it's a one-pot dish. They cook the rice and everything in the same pot.
Sure do. Yeah.
Whereas with the other one, they may what they call a white jambalaya. You know, they pull it together after everything is mixed up separately.
Right.
But, you know,
yeah. Dropping game. Yeah. Where'd you go to culinary school?
So it's a hodgepodge, right? So I say the CIA, you know, because my teacher made sure, he was like, look, you know, I went to Art Institute, okay? But they're like, you getting a CIA education, you know? He's like, you're getting a CIA education. And then I took a couple classes at CIA and got some certifications there too. So I could say it, but, you know, I don't want to put any kind of bouginess on it. You know, there's always this, you know, oh, CIA versus Johnson and Wales, and, you know, like, you know, look, I encourage anyone who is...
Wait a minute, what's CIA?
Culinary Institute of America.
Okay, when you said CIA, I thought you were really doing some...
some undercover, yeah.
Some clandestine
No.
work.
I
was like, okay, oh, man.
No, I wanted to go to Le Cordon Bleu, but, you know, that was too expensive.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And I didn't want any stateside stuff. I wanted to actually go over to France, you know, to do it. But you know, that wasn't in the cards, you know, and that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, but I mean, you know, you're always learning. I encourage anybody who wants to do food to not get stuck on the fact that they need to go to culinary school.
Right.
Because you could learn a lot in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, as with any vocation, you could just learn a lot just by watching an experienced hand, you know, do and teach you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, out of all the chefs that I've had on here, a little cross between everybody. Some have been trained, some like just trained in the kitchen, some have been professionally at school, some, you know, some learned on the street.
Yeah.
Cooking, selling plates, you know.
The recipes we doing, nobody taught them.
Right.
They didn't go to school.
Right.
So, you know, it's like, hey.
Yeah. First concert you ever been to? Hip hop concert or anything?
Nah, Luther Vandross.
Luther Vandross.
My parents took me. I don't remember what age I was, but I remember being at the Luther Vandross concert.
Yeah.
And
that's funny you say that, because I remember being young. I always tell people the first concert I went to was 1986, UTFO. It was UTFO, Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh were supposed to be there and didn't show up.
Okay.
So they had some local dudes. This was in Lafayette, Jerry Curl and everything.
Yeah.
And Leather, supposed to fill in for Dougie Fresh's. But now that you mentioned Luther Vandross, man, I can remember being young, and I don't know why I remember waking up and seeing Rick James. Being at a Rick James concert, I don't know why that's coming. I ask my folks, did that really happen? Man?
Yeah.
But I don't know why that's coming to me now. But I always say UTFO, but Rick James is coming to me.
Parents took us anyway. You know what I'm saying? A ticket. Your dad would have you on your shoulder talking about pretend like you sleep.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, man. Your favorite ethnic cuisine that you like to cook or eat?
Ooh, man, it's eclectic, just like music. It's for me, it's whatever I'm feeling at the time.
Right.
I love Ethiopian cuisine, and I love Asian. I think in a former life I was Asian because I could eat Asian every day.
Yeah.
And I mean all cross,
Yeah.
Korean, Chinese, Japanese, South Indian, North Indian, it don't matter.
I had last year we went to Las Vegas and I interviewed Chef Charles Bell from New Orleans.
Okay.
He said the same thing, Asian.
Yeah.
He said the same thing you just said, Asian, yeah.
Charles Bell, that name sounds familiar. I think he went to high school with me.
I think he said he went to Brother Martin. Brother Martin, yeah.
Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
I ain't go to Brother Martin. But yeah.
Yeah. One thing we like to do at Food Dope, man, we talk food, culinary arts or whatever. I have chefs, restaurateurs, and I like to have influencers and business owners.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about your brand.
Okay, all right, yeah. Maison Bertrand.
Maison Bertrand.
Yeah, Maison Bertrand.
Let's talk about that.
So we acquired the Monogram Coffee Company in 2020, right? We have been talking for a few years. They've been around since 1931.
Okay.
It was the largest coffee manufacturer in Northeast Louisiana. It started in Shreveport.
Okay.
And actually the first company to trademark the words fresh roasted coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did it in 1930.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's just, they were going out. They're like, look, we don't know what to do from here.
Yeah.
So we acquired them. We rebranded, changed the name, changed the look, and here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. A couple of years later, pushing still the same coffee
Right.
that the formula that they've been using. We tweaked it just a little, just to kind of do the flavors a little bit better, and we added some products to the family. Candy pecans. You can call me the praline slinger. Because I'm always slinging pralines. Wherever I'm going.
Yeah.
And we've tried other things, but these are the items that stuck.
Okay.
the things that are inherently native to our tongue.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And your branding is awesome as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. We got candy pecans here. What do we have right here?
That's the whole bean coffee.
The whole bean coffee, and we got a can of coffee and chicory.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And the good thing about our chicory, we blend it. Well, one, we get our stuff. We know where our beans come from. The third wave coffee culture. Knowing everything about your bean. We know where it comes from, the altitude. So that determines like the sweetness of the coffee bean and everything. Even our chicory directly from Leroux, France.
Okay.
So that way we can determine what the roasting level is.
Yeah.
So we can again create and change flavors based on the depth of flavor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that. So there's no ramifications, bad ramifications from the coffee and chicory. A lot of people, run to the toilet after they finish drinking a nice dark roast coffee, but that's not the case for us.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, man, we've been working hard. We do a lot of research, and because I'm a pastry chef, at heart, I'm astounded by the science behind everything, and I delve deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that because R&D, research and development.
Yeah.
Man, I love it. When do you find time to do anything else?
I don't.
You don't?
I got 4 kids, man. So
Oh man. Oh, okay. As far as your own personal style of cooking, man, give me some dishes that you think you'd specialize in, that you've heard feedback that people love it, or what would be your go-to dish?
I'm a spice guy, and so I wouldn't necessarily say a go-to dish. My style of cooking is what's in the fridge or freezer.
Yeah.
Right. What's in the cabinets, pantry. I can look in there and say, okay, I got a protein, I got a starch, I got this veggie to work with.
Yeah.
And then I go to my spice cabinet and I figure out what does my tongue want today,
Yeah.
or what are the kids not gonna scoff at, or I ask my wife, what you feel like eating, and then just to know what spices are indicative of a particular area,
right,
and create anything. So
yeah.
What's your favorite cuisine?
I think right now maybe I'm going through a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
So I think I'm a chef, and I think I can do everything.
We all chefs at heart. We all chefs at heart.
I don't care what I'm cooking. I'm grabbing 9 and 10 spices out of the what you call it. And I'm seeing how they taste, and I'm just learning. I don't know, but you had to probably ask my wife what she probably think the best. What do you think?
What you thinking?
Yeah,
or yours.
My favorite that I cook. My favorite dish that I've cooked. I've done, another common word among chefs is elevate. I've been elevating lately.
Okay.
I feel I've been elevating.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's hard to say. I mean, that's hard to say. Over the years, I'm I don't know. I don't know. But as far as food I love Mexican.
Okay.
And not just the Mexican food, what people consider to be Mexican.
Yeah.
The different regions of Mexico.
Absolutely.
I like to try the different foods of the different regions.
Absolutely.
Things that are bright, things that are colorful, things that are full of flavor. I like spice, but not heavy on heat. I don't know, man. Just the mixture of different flavors, man.
Yeah.
And textures. Also, and I like to ask people like, what's your favorite plate in comparison to the favorite hip hop song? Like, build a song and then tell me how you build a plate, and I compare those two.
Okay.
Like show me how you would start your perfect plate.
Well, I think a lot of chefs get caught up on balance, right?
I've heard
that's
that
the word
yeah.
that they use a lot, and they're like, oh, it's got to have balance in flavor, but also balance in like texture and all that. So they want crunchy, but they want savory, but then they want a little bit maybe sweet, and then some acidity.
Yeah.
I don't get caught up on all of that.
Yeah.
I'm about what your mouth wants at the time, right? What are you feeling? Because that's what's gonna satisfy the soul.
Yeah.
And satiate, you, right? Yeah. So for me, I start with questions. I always start with, what you feel like eating?
Yeah.
And then I go from there. Yeah, because that's the perfect plate for me. The perfect plate is what you feeling at the moment.
What you feel like eating, yeah. Dope. Yeah.
And if I had to relate that to music or hip hop, I mean, for me, it's more, like I say, I'm an R&B head.
Yeah.
I love jazz and like live music.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put any words to it. For me, it would just be like a hi-hat, just just in the background, and a nice, steady beat in the pocket.
Man, that's
what
I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Now this conversation is elevating. This conversation is elevating. That's why I'm on something right now where I'm telling people, man, I don't care. I don't care where you listening to it, the music is from, or where you listen to it. You can find something redeeming in anything.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're closing. If your mind is just open to say something is dope or it's whack, you're missing out on so much more.
Absolutely.
And you're shutting the door to it. Like you just brought up a hi-hat. Who pays attention to a hi-hat in a song other than a producer?
Yeah.
And I think that's how I consume my music now, with the ears of, because I'm listening to everything.
Yeah.
I'm not consciously doing it.
Yeah.
I can't hear music any other way no more.
Exactly.
And that's dope that you brought up something.
You know what a hi-hat does for me? You know the feeling when like you had a hat on all day and you take it off and you start scratching and just feel good just to like rub your head.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like it's like the thing running around the hi-hat. That's how I feel to my soul. It's like it calms me down. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh man. Man, that's dope. Something that's detail oriented as a hi-hat or a cymbal, a slight cymbal crash or something like.
And it's, subtle saxophone.
Yeah.
They come in there.
Yeah.
A piano a little bit.
Right.
Everybody take turns. You got to hit it with the bass.
Yeah.
Just.
And that's what I was telling. I had a guy on here. Shout out to Atlanta Food Guy. Last year we was on my show and we was talking about 8 Ball and MJG.
Yeah.
And that's how I was like, man, you listen to them dudes. They like jazz The way they use their voices.
And a lot of the samples and everything.
I mean, it's just like live jazz musicians, the way they use their voice on a jazz solo.
So they teach you in like with vocal lessons and things like that. Your voice is an instrument.
Yeah.
And so you're essentially imitating the sounds of instruments, whether it be wind, string, whatever.
Right.
So you got to use it.
You got to
go
it.
up and down and crescendo just like you do with everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I appreciate Timbaland.
Yeah.
Because Timbaland is like a master of his craft. You know, like you can feel him bopping in the back. You know, like when he making the sound, or just when you hear, you're like, okay, I can determine the mood he was in when he was creating this. You know what I mean?
That, right? And I like to, another thing I also like to tell people is like, man, when we were forced to take. I don't know if they still do it, but we were forced to take either band or chorus once you get to middle school. Mm-hmm. And we took band, even though we were forced. We took band. I might have hated it then. Yeah. But I love the fact that I did it now, because now I know about sheet music. I know how songs are supposed to be written, notes on the paper, and I was like, that's no different. That's no different than rap. Like we were just talking about vocal arrangement, and you hit your voice up here, and you see the notes on the sheet music and everything. It's just music. Yeah. So. If music is that complex, then how can you just pigeonhole it into something that's dope or that's whack? You gotta listen to the totality of it, man.
Absolutely.
This is just music. It's music on notes on a scale or on a
Which is why I tell people, don't dismiss food. Don't dismiss a culture that you haven't tasted.
Right.
Because
and people are quick to do that.
They are, and even so much stuff right here in America. I know plenty of people who will never try, a steak that has. A little bit of red in it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're just like, nah.
They make the face, they make the face when you
Oh, it need to be, real cooked. It need to be brown. Yeah. I'm like, but you're missing out on the beauty.
You're missing out on it, yeah.
And to each his own. I'm not gonna force anybody to eat anything they don't want to. But I can't understand that. I can't understand that. So you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Yeah, I'm all about leading them. Yeah. I'll lead you there. Nah, I can't make you drink. But same thing with the music. Just you got to be willing to listen to anything. You can get old physically, but don't let your mind age. Right. Because music is the universal language.
Yes, it is.
And as long as you're willing to accept new artists, and they're doing things that were influenced by things when you were younger, right? And then you were influenced by things that happened when you were, or somebody else was young. Your parents were younger, So
I had to lighten up. That's why I had to lighten up on the younger generation. Yeah. A few years ago, because I used to be the old dude, like the old head, But it's like it took a while, but I started to understand that I was that age once. Yeah. And the same way that we look at them is like people looked at us, but we didn't care because this was our music.
This is our
expression, our music. Yeah. Let me ask you a question, because I know that over the last year, a couple of years maybe, brunch has become a big thing. Do you prefer brunch? Because I had a conversation with both of my brothers last week. Do you prefer a quiet brunch, or do you have to have the hookah and live DJ?
I don't need the hookah. I don't mind the DJ. Look, I'm loud in general, so I don't mind being in the mix. You know, I'll take the loud. I could do quiet, or I could do loud. Yeah.
Do you feel that the same way you don't hear it anymore like that much, but the same way like an MC had the internal battle, internal struggle of keeping it real, my art real, or do I have to dumb down what I do for the masses to sell more plates, either to sell more records? Does the chef have that struggle?
Yes.
For the ones who own their own restaurants, I want to be able to present my art, present this beautiful culinary art to people. But do I have to bring in the other stuff to sell?
So when I do consult, right, I tell people learn how to sell your product out the back door. Right. Right. You run your business from the back door. Right. You have to get some kind of following to be consistent in your revenue, right? So for instance, you got a bakery, right? And you make bread all day. Well, you need to sell your bread to some cafes that want fresh bread every day. Yeah. You got those monthly contracts coming in. Yeah. Now you can worry about the retail customer. Okay. If nobody walks in the door, you're still good. Yeah. If somebody walks in the door, great. Yeah. You're not based like your whole business is not based around that, right? So the same thing I say for chefs. I do think that it's a struggle for us. Like, we do need to learn the lay of the land and establish ourselves in the eye of the public first.
Right.
And then you can do what you want. Because once you have a following, then they're like, well, we know that they can cook.
Yeah.
And we know what they do is good.
Yeah.
Because, we done had their stuff. So now, if they doing this and this is home, it must be delicious.
Right.
But yeah, if you come out the gate, unless you are just, this, I don't know, savant. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I do think we are limited to
Because,
it.
because we constantly see the trendy explode and go on to become mega whatevers in food service, whatever product they might have be trendy. But you see other people who a lot better than this other person, but they might not have the social media presence or this and that. They just want to do their art.
They just want to do what they do.
Yeah.
And some people are totally okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's ambition is different. Right. Some people don't mind being, under the radar. They don't mind being, low key.
Yeah.
Other people need that, fame and support, to keep it going.
Yeah.
It just depends on who you are. And I think that goes into music too. Some people don't mind, doing the mixtapes. They don't mind DJing, because for them it's about what they're doing. They may have the, lots of money and fame on the DJ circuit, but they're just fine. They have no desire to go past that circuit.
That's what's good for them.
That's what's good with them. That's what helps keep their sanity at an even keel level. Yeah.
Now, what made you want to be a consultant?
I made my mistakes. And the only way to listen, I'm all about sharing what I know.
Okay.
And so whether it's teaching, youth or, someone who has also gone through the common struggle of running a business, and, that is just stressful.
Yeah.
So you got to know what you're going to come up against.
Yeah.
And if I can soften the blow, like, look, I have fallen on my shoulder and torn a ligament. You know what I'm saying? Like, before you do that, let me let you know. How about you do this? And then they're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. It just helps. It helps to have somebody in your corner, and it makes the journey a little bit easier.
Right. Right.
I just, I like to see people succeed.
Yeah.
And you do have to fail, but you don't have to fail as hard as everybody.
Right.
Fail fast and fail hard, so that way what works and what doesn't work. But there's no need to, always hit rock bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I know in all aspects of life, people have certain mentors or whatever field they might have. Who was your OG in the field of culinary arts that you looked up to that might have taught you a few things here or there, or did you just come up the hard scrabble way and just?
Yeah, man, I came with a hard scrabble way.
Oh man.
I mean, I could name people who were, who like taught me things, but everywhere I go, I try to learn something from somebody. No one has really taken me on as a mentee. Right. It's just been more, me learning along the way, bumps and bruises and all.
Yeah.
Cuts and scrapes.
Yeah.
Hell, I got 2 marks on my leg from falling out, off a table. Literally, scrapes and bruises. So, I want to be the best version of me, and then share that with other people.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. When you're in the kitchen, what do you listen to? Or do you listen to music?
I got to have music in the kitchen.
What are you listening to?
It changes up the feeling, man.
Change it up?
Sometimes I like her.
Okay.
But if I'm like rocking and rolling in a groove, I'll probably end up putting like some Afro beats on, or even like almost like I don't know what you would call it, but maybe like Latin. Just something that's upbeat. And just constantly moving.
Getting you going, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's dope. All right. Maison Bertrand. Man, I don't know. I just think that's so dope that you actually acquired the company
I know they got some people turning over in their grave right now.
I think that's dope. I think that's dope that you foresaw something. You had a vision to actually do that.
Yeah.
Because I might know 100 people, and 100 out of 100 wouldn't think like that.
Yeah.
You think like that. That's something I would. So it's dope that we connected.
Heck yeah.
Everybody don't think, you might have a vision, but taking the first step to being able to get there, you might not even have the money or the credit or whatever, but you say, I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so dope, and that's why I brought you.
Brother,
after I read your bio, man, I said, I gotta get him in here, man.
So, look, I've never wanted to always be on the line. Right. I think that's the starting point, to be on the line. You learn, it's kind of like being in the trenches in war, right? Or even selling your mixtape out the trunk, right? That's kind of where it is. You, like Ludacris said, like, you record at the speed of need. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one of those things where you have to do it to know what comes next.
Right.
But that's not the end all be all. That is assembling someone else's dream. Right? Because a chef who is running the kitchen, or a chef who has created those recipes, has also broken down the system to create this assembly line which you're working on. Right? Yeah. I'm trying to be at that other end.
The other side, yeah.
I want to systemize the process and create the assembly line.
Yeah.
And then show people, this is the dance we got to do in the kitchen. This is what makes things run smoothly. This is the workflow. Yeah. This is how to break down this recipe. Yeah, I could do it myself, but now I can break this one recipe down into 3 stations, and then have 3 to 6 people working on one recipe, and it happened in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Gotcha.
That's the kind of thought process I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
But you got to learn that those things exist.
Yeah.
Because starting out, all you know is chef cooks.
Yeah.
Chef feeds people. They do that. They create recipes.
Yeah.
But that ain't the end all be all.
That ain't the end. And I really, like I said, man, I had to give special shouts out to everybody that I've had on this show going back to last year. I wish I can go through all the names, all the chefs now. Oh man, Chef Charles in Houston, Chef CJ Masterpiece in Houston. I'll put another video out. I'm just naming everybody, man. I learned so much.
All masters of their craft.
I learned so much from everybody. And like I said, everybody has different styles, which is dope. Like an MC might rap differently.
Yeah.
It's like y'all different, man. Y'all different. Y'all weird, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Because you're an artist,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Your art reflects your surroundings. And your upbringing. Let everybody know, man, how they can get in touch with you. How can they get some of this product?
Yeah.
And if you want to finish talking about what you do, let's talk about who have you cooked for.
Well, I mean, I've had my share of time. Executive chef in Florida for like 4 Points by Sheraton. I've owned a couple of bakeries and cupcakeries along the way. Studio B, Truth in a Treat Cupcakery. I've worked at the list is long. Henley Park Hotel when it existed in DC. Wolfgang Puck, I've worked like catering events for him.
Oh, okay.
Done had a little small stint at the White House.
Wow.
And
how long ago was that? Pre-Obama?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Early 2000s.
Okay.
Early 2000s. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've done like a couple of celebrities doing that. Who don't like to be mentioned.
Right.
They want to keep it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Seem bougie. And that's cool. That's cool. I respect your privacy. I respect your privacy. But a couple of. I've been a celebrity chef. Yeah, I mean, again, I like to touch all over the place, man.
How did pastry chef?
Yeah.
How did you? I don't want to say settle in on that, but how did?
I love
that's a science,
art.
man.
It is.
That's a science.
Listen, baking is a science in itself. So I always say I cook when I'm angry, I bake when I'm bored, right? Because when I'm cooking, I don't really need any structure.
Yeah.
I got to throw the pan on the thing, I throw the stuff in there, I can release the anger, you know, slam the pan, you know, stir it hard, do whatever.
Yeah.
The dish will still come out nice,
Yeah,
you know. But with baking, it gets my mind going. So I got to be detailed, you know. And yeah, there are, you know, nuances that, you know, you can take with baking. But, you know, it's the recipe you got to pay attention to. You know, you add too much salt or you add salt instead of sugar, you're going to mess up the recipe. You know, you add too much sugar into cookie and it's going to spread. Just like too much butter, it's going to spread. You know, too much flour is going to be tough, you know. If you're making bread and you mix it too much, or you're making a cake and you mix too much, that cake going to be tough and the crumb is going to be, you know, tight. Where you want a nice fluffy cake, you know, it's all kinds of stuff, you know. You making whipped cream, you know, whip it too much, you're going to end up with butter. You know what I mean? So it's just all those different things that you have to think about. The process just, it gives your mind something to do. Right? But for me, it was the mix of art and food. Right? I love food. I love what it does. I love to see the smiles on people's faces when they actually consume it and eat it, and you know, just even nostalgia. You know, I've gotten so many emails about people saying, "Oh man, you know, I tasted your praline and it, you know, it took me back to the '60s. You know, when I'm riding on a trolley with my grandparents. You know, it's like, you know, like those kind of things. That feeds my soul. That makes me feel real good. But it's those kinds of things that geared me to pastry. You know, I like to draw, and even though I'm not an artist, you know, I like to draw, I like to sculpt, and for me, cakes were where it was at. You know, 3D cakes and you know, all those things. That was me. Early on in the whole, you know, health thing, when people were turning vegan, you know, and changing to that lifestyle, I was able to hone my skills in DC on any recipe I do, I can turn vegan. You know, so I mean, we even have a vegan praline that, you know, we're rolling out. But people, they need that stuff. You know, and you know, our parents are getting older, and you know, I'm sure if you think back, we didn't really eat that well. And I'm not talking about eating well like our bellies was full. I'm talking about the stuff we put in our bodies. You know.
For that matter, hell, I'm getting old.
Yeah, we got to change our own, right?
3 weeks ago, I made a cake 3 weeks ago. I've been wanting a cake because the first time I made a praline cake, yellow cake with praline icing. 2 years ago, I made it. I made it twice that year. The first one was so good, my mom wanted me to make it for Thanksgiving. I made it again. So last year, I didn't make it at all. About 3 weeks ago, I wanted to make it again. I made it, and my own cake had me sick for 48 hours. Man. It was
my goodness.
The sugar. I was like, man, I can't eat like this no more. And that was just 2 years ago. And I was like, I didn't even finish the cake. But I'm like, I can't eat like this no more, man. It was so much sugar and brown sugar and just the icing itself and butter. I can't do it no more, man. So.
Well, you know, there are ways to, I know it's not a word, but, you know, healthify, you know, things when it comes to baking. And
that's not fun, though.
Well, you know, it's not bad either. Like it's not that it's gonna be. It is gonna be less sweet, but not to the point where you'll notice, right? You don't want it cloyingly sweet. You know, you just want it sweet enough so you can still enjoy the flavor, but not overly sweet where you know it caused diabetes by bite. You know what I mean? One bite. You know. You want to be able to enjoy it and not have it send you to the ER. You know.
I hear you.
Even with my parents, I had them switch over to xylitol. It's a alternate sugar made from like birch sap, right? But they've been using it for years in gum and xylitol. It's expensive, you know, and it's getting less expensive over time. There's so many alternative sugars, but you know, we ate with a lot of sugar. We ate a lot of sugar, a lot of salt. You know, they use country crock, you know, butter, you know, and it wasn't even butter. You know, it's margarine. You know what I mean? So, you know, just showing them, look, use unsalted butter, you know, like that stuff is wonderful, you know, and you don't have to use a lot of it. You still get the flavor. Then you can adjust the salt, you know, how you like it. It's just take it from the very base and build up. And that's what I'm about, because you can control every aspect of your meal as long as you know what you're doing, you know, and where you want to go. You just keep playing. You can make that praline icing, and it'd be less sugar. Yeah. I'll show you.
All right. I got one last question before I'm gonna let you close this out and have the floor and talk about whatever you want. But I got one last question. Personal opinion. The Southeast Louisiana cuisine versus Southwest Louisiana.
I don't think there's a difference.
Really?
Yeah. I think truly in Louisiana, the only difference is Cajun and Creole. Because a lot of people try to tie it Southern to us, right? Yeah. But really, when you think of Cajun and Creole, the only differences are what we talked about before. You know, the tomato base versus the roux, right? But the flavors are very basic. Right. Flavors is like paprika, cayenne pepper, or black pepper, maybe a little chili powder, garlic and onion. You know, some may add basil, some may add that, right? Yeah. I don't feel like there's a difference. Now, the influence of what we got from other cultures are shown when we eat, right? So I mean, the Spanish influence, you know, paella turned to jambalaya, you know? Yeah.
We also have, like I've also told people growing up, it wasn't uncommon for us to just walk in somebody's house and their grandmother's a full-blooded Native American.
You got fried
making
bread.
A gumbo.
Yeah, exactly.
With you know, with everything. The full regalia on.
Yeah.
Making gumbo. I've seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Same, you know. That's just how we, you know, were brought up. A true bouillabaisse of culture, you know, and that to me is the beauty of Louisiana. You know, the fact that we can all share in the experience of eating similar foods. Right. But it's, you know, who grandma make it better? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like your grandma gumbo. You know what I'm saying?
I'm constantly telling my wife, I know the difference between each one of the women in my family's, my grandmother, both of my grandmother's gumbo, my mom's gumbo, it all tasted differently. And I like each one of them for different reasons.
It's about the hand who makes it and not necessarily about where it comes from. Because, you know, so you know how when we eat gumbo, and you got potato salad on the side, but how do you eat your potato salad? Like, do you prefer it in the bowl or on the side?
On the side. I prefer it on the side.
See, some people
like that scoop on top of.
That's German influence.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. And so, like, you could tell that their family was touched by some kind of German influence at some point, because the Germans are known for putting the potato salad in the gumbo versus on the side. Yeah. So it's all those kinds of things that, you know, amalgamate that just, you know, it astounds me with the history and how it has influenced every step of our culture. Yeah. And we just, you know, this is why I am. Yeah. But, you know, like, you know. It's like, how'd you get there, though? You know?
Man. This is Nathan T. Rideaux, a.k.a. The Professor, on the Food Dope Podcast. And I'm here today with Chef Bert Dumas. And, Chef, man, it's been truly a remarkable experience having you in here.
Same. Thank you.
I appreciate it, man. We talked about Maison Bertrand.
Yes.
Maison Bertrand.
You know, you want to be fancy, you know, Maison Bertrand.
Maison Bertrand. Bertrand. Maison, like I said, I like your packaging and everything.
Thank
your
you.
brand and everything. This is dope. So, you want to let everybody know how they can get in touch with you, your social media handles or anything? You can go ahead and take it, man.
Yeah, well, you know, you want to find the company, definitely Maison Bertrand Foods, and that's across the board, whether, you know, it's Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. Maison Bertrand Foods, MaisonBertrand FOODS. And personally, if you want to find me, Bert Feeds Us. And again, that's everywhere. BERTFEEDSUS. Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here to teach people how to eat, and you know, I live to eat.
You live to eat. Yeah, that's what's up, man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother, for having me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is Nathan Rideaux on the Food Dope Podcast. And remember, you'll never understand the weight this culture carries unless you live the life. Yes, and you know what? I live the life. Peace. International Food Dope, brought to you by Urban Science Media, hosted by Nathan T. Rideaux, a.k.a. The Professor. Find us on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on IG at Food Dope Podcast and at The Professor 73. You'll never underestimate the weight this culture carries unless you live the life. And I live the life. We got history.